Finished business between Richard Williams and Paul Samuels. The first time they met, the IBO champion was bloodied and bruised.
Bad swelling by the left eye as well of Richard Williams, and Paul Samuels now piling on the punches. This is a cracker.
I didn't even realise I was cut. All I knew is that we had an exchange, and I came out and I couldn't see out of my right eye, and then things went downhill from there.
I believe I was robbed, but I mean, I'm a kind of guy who just gets on with it and just look forward to the future.
Now they're set to go at it again and finish a return in explosive and conclusive style.
Richard Williams obviously has trained very hard for this. He's a champion. Maybe he's got a lot more pressure than me because him being a champion, but at the same time there's going to be fireworks in our ring, and it'll be a kind of fight where, believe me, they will talk for a long time after.
Paul Samuels has given me a challenge. Okay, we've had the first encounter, and it was hard. He hurt me, he cut me, and believe you me, I would be merciless. I intend to be merciless.
Sounds like both men have got plenty of memories of the bitter first meeting, Spencer. But is Richard Williams clever enough to assess his own display last time out and infect an improvement this time?
I think that he is. I mean, Richard Williams is a fighter that blows hot and cold all the time. We see him against Tony Badia and Shannon Taylor. He was excellent, and we've seen him against the likes of Ozzy Duran, where he's not been so good. When he boxed last time with Samuels, he wasn't so good, but I think that he will have learned from that, and I think that we'll see a better Richard Williams this evening.
Nicky, how can we know what we're going to get from Samuels here?
Well, he usually starts slowly, but he's always explosive, and we know it's going to be exciting, whatever happens. He's a big puncher, comes to fight, and if Richard Williams wants to get involved again, then it's going to be another classic, and that's the key to this fight.
Is it advantage Samuels for you, Nicky, after the first one?
I think so. I think Williams is one that thrives on confidence, and he'll have been shocked by the start of Samuels last time. If he tries to get involved, I say it'll be a real war, and he's got to keep it long and try and box. But Samuels, I think, might be his slight favourite.
Spencer, how do you weigh it up for us?
I personally think that Richard Williams is going to come out and he's going to be the fighter that we know when he's on top form. I believe he's one of, or if not the best in the country, and I think that we're going to see a better Richard Williams this evening.
You've set it up perfectly. We've been waiting for this one. It should be fantastic. Settle in with us. Our commentary team at ringside ready to go. Adam Smith and Jim Watt. Our master of ceremonies here tonight, John MacDonald.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's World Championship Boxing. Please welcome to the ring now, from Newport, South Wales, Paul Samuels. So here we go again. 5 months after the blood-curdling war, which was brewing up until it was dramatically stopped in the 3rd round. Paul Samuels thought he was on the verge of a famous triumph. He was left devastated when the accidental head clash ruled the fight a technical draw. What surprised us in this very arena in June was how big, strong and aggressive he looked. He stood up to Richard Williams. He's been training for this now for 5 months. He's extremely confident. He says he'll pick up where he left off. He's desperate, Jim, to get Williams straight back into those trenches.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen it written that some people question how much he is in love with the game of boxing. I just think what he doesn't like are run-of-the-mill fights. He wants big fights. The bigger the fight, the better he performs. And he performed spectacularly last time. I'm sure he'll be prepared to do that again tonight.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the champion from Stockwell, South London, Richard Williams. He looks very, very fired up tonight. We believe the silky style of Richard Williams placed him at the top of the talented British light middleweight table. But what now? At 31, he's been plagued by illnesses and injuries. How about those horrific cuts he's suffered above his right eye? Will Williams ever fulfill that potential? Or will he be one of those would-have-beens? Possibly a slightly brittle makeup may seal him fall short. He needs to box, doesn't he, Jim? Clearly, cleanly and cleverly to a much-needed victory here.
Yeah, he mustn't make the same mistakes he made last time. Of the two, this is the man who has to show the improvement, but we all know he's capable of showing that improvement. I think his plans were all wrong. He was drawn into a battle last time. You cannot afford to do that.
Samuel's 2 years younger. He's got the big height advantage and the reach advantage. And Richard Williams, well, he made the 11-stone limit, but just half an hour before he was 2 pounds over. That's interesting. Williams debuted 5 years ago. Samuels has had a longer career, more frustrating, slightly more fights, more rounds boxed, a bigger knockout percentage to Richard Williams, but Paul Samuels can bang too. This should be explosive.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and welcome to a packed Brentwood International Centre here in Brentwood, Essex, England, for tonight's World Championship Boxing, proudly presented by Barry Hearn for Ringside Boxing Promotions in association with Prince Promotions and Matchroom Sport. All sponsored here by PokerMillion.com for a great game of online poker. And a very warm welcome to our viewers joining us live and exclusive here on Sky Sports. You know you've joined us for the very best ringside seat in the business. All the officials have been appointed by the IBO President Ed Levine of Coral Gable, Florida, USA, in association with the British Boxing Board of Control. Timekeeper at the bell, appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, is Mr. Nick White of London. Fight Supervisor, Mr. Frank Brunette, and Assistant Supervisor, Hilton Whittaker. Our 3 judges. Firstly, from New York City, USA, Malvina Latham. From Florida, USA, Mr. John Rupert. And from Derby, England, Mr. Paul Thomas, the referee in charge of the action. From Wolverhampton, England, is star referee John Coyle. They are the officials, and here are the contestants. Firstly, and introducing to you the challenger. He's fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the red trunks trimmed with white, weighed in at 10 stone, 13 pounds, 5 ounces. A 19-fight record, 16 wins, 10 inside the scheduled distance, 1 loss, 2 draws. He is the challenger from Newport, the pride of South Wales. Would you please welcome Paul Samuel? And now, ladies and gentlemen, the champion. He's fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the black trunks and weighed in at 10 stone, 13 pounds, 13 ounces. 17 fight record, 15 wins, 13 inside the scheduled distance, 1 loss, 1 draw. He is the reigning and defending IBO light middleweight champion of the world from Stockwell, South London, So let's get the action underway. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBO Light Middleweight Championship of the world.
Best of luck to you both. Thank you.
Well, the rematches stateside this year have been eagerly anticipated, but Morales Barrera and Gazzy Ward didn't quite live up to the ferocious battles first time round. This is the domestic dust-up we've been craving to see again. So many unanswered questions. Has Richard Williams found his level? Is Paul Samuels better than we thought he was? Can Williams adapt tactically to his boxing advantages? Will Samuels last the pace? And what if 5 months is not long enough for the tissue around the eye, the right eye of Richard Williams to heal. I can't wait for this one, Jim. We just can't predict it.
Yeah, well, it was so good last time. If it lived up half as good as that, we're in for a treat. But I'm interested to see in the first round how much aggression Williams shows, or is it going to be a tactical battle? Is he going to box his way into the fight? He's a thinking fighter. Those guys usually take a couple of rounds to get going, so I wonder if he'll show a little bit more common sense tonight.
31-year-old IBO light middleweight champion in the second defence of his title. He had a very good first round last time out. He shook Samuels with 3 or 4 overhand rights, but Samuels stood his ground and then came back. He drew Williams in. Williams says this time he will box sensibly and break Samuels up. But can he be trusted, or will he be drawn in again?
Well, it's obvious already Samuels wants to pick up from where he left off. Williams' defence is very tight, just very, very careful. Watch what he's doing, popping the counters.
He knows that Paul Samuels hurt him more than any other fighter in his whole professional career. He's got power, Samuels. He had a tremendous amateur record, picking up Welsh ABA titles at 3 different weights. As a professional, has let himself down. Is this the night where it all comes good for the phlegmatic, truculent character from Newport? So much respect, isn't there?
I'm surprised that even Samuels' defences are coming up. He looks a lot looser, but as soon as a move is made, his defences are coming in pretty tightly. So I think they both felt the power last time up.
Quick moves from Richard Williams, who technically may just be superior, although the reach and height advantages are with Samuels, and Williams may have been tight at the weight this time. Both worked so hard in the gym. Well, a quiet opener in comparison.
This royal throne of kings, this sceptred isle, this happy breed of men, this earth, this realm, Worthington's, the heart of our nation.
In a hot shower, only one shaver offers you cool skin pleasure and a free steam-free mirror. Philishave Cool Skin.
Welcome back to the fight that we hope will produce an early Christmas cracker. There's Don Davis with Richard Williams. Bob Paget just behind, used to look after Crawford Ashley, a tight team. Williams down to earth, sensible, lovely guy outside of the ring, but can be menacing inside. Here's the second. Paul Samuels, the 29-year-old in his 20th fight, second challenge for the IBO title. Remember, the first one ended in that technical draw when Williams was cut by what Richie Davis, the referee, decided was an accidental clash of heads in this, the second round. So keep your eyes on that right eye of Williams, should their heads come close.
I like Samuel's pressure in the first round. Nothing silly, controlled pressure, sensible pressure, but he was feinting a lot, trying to force his man into making a mistake, but obviously Williams didn't make any.
Smile on the face of Richard Williams, we see so often outside of the ring, but rarely inside it. Good left hook on the inside from him. Both being so careful, as so often is the case when the first fight, the first time around, is so thunderous. Do they want to go there again?
showing their pride again here, both standing their ground.
Left hook from Paul Samuels, who's brought a big following up from Wales. He says, there will be fireworks. We'll remember this one. As yet, we haven't had a sparkler.
They're both winding up the big shots. You know, they're not just finding the range, they're not fiddling around, they're both winding up, looking for big shots, looking for an early advantage. Probably Williams just a little bit more clever with his boxing in this round than Samuels.
They're both shaking their heads at each other, spitting out defiance. Both good fighters in there. Remember that. Number 4 in Britain in Richard Williams and the number 6 in Paul Samuels. Both have had frustration. Richard Williams has had nose injuries, problems with mystery viruses, and Paul Samuels almost out of the ring for 2 years following his British title defeat to Wayne Alexander. Massive opportunity for both of them, this. Neither really can afford to lose.
Samuel still that little bit looser, not such a tight defence.
It's a nimble start this from Paul Samuels, who's often slow out of the blocks.
Tomorrow, Sky Sports 1. It's Spurs West Brom. The Baggies, chasing back-to-back wins, face one of the best home records in the Premiership. Ford Super Sunday tomorrow at 3, exclusively live.
Tony Borg running Paul Samuels' corner after 2 rounds. Dead level on the success rate. It's nip and tuck. Neither have really taken advantage yet.
Well, I have it around the piece already. I thought Williams was a little bit cute on that round, blocking the punches coming his way and picking some nice little counters. But still the man prepared to take the chances is Paul Samuels.
Richard Williams, as cool as ever. Just ready to come out for the 3rd round. This is the one where he won the Commonwealth title in such a dramatic manner against Tony Badea, the Canadian. This was also the one where he was stopped because of that clash of heads in round number 2, and then a left hook, or a few left hooks, opened up a second cut in this round. Richie Davis stopped it, a technical draw. Both fighters left devastated. That was really warming up. This is slower. There's more thinking going on in there. There's more respect.
I'm surprised at Samuels. I thought he would have wanted a hotter pace. When you're in with a thinking fighter, they don't like to work at a pace, so you have to force them, you have to control the pace, but he's not been doing that. He's been trying to pot shot, and coming off second best just as I'm speaking.
Doubling up the left and trying to trap Williams on the ropes. Can he turn the heat up now? Paul Samuels. At this stage, last time out, both men had been hurt.
Samuels must set this kind of pace. He can't do it for 12 rounds, but he must do it in bursts. He can't allow, as I said, a thinking fighter to dictate the pace. And Williams is very cute.
A mark on the right shoulder of Paul Samuels. When I went to see him in Newport last week, he had a bandage on his right arm. He was in need of physiotherapy. Said it would be absolutely fine. And it's really got the domestic scene buzzing and talking. Enzo Calzaghe, Samuels' former trainer, said he fancied Williams because Samuels' stamina would sap. And when I spoke to James Cook, Richard Williams' former trainer, he said it depends who is the last man standing after 5 rounds.
Samuel seems to want to be playing mind games in the early stages. He's smiling when he takes a punch. He's whispering in Williams' ear. No doubt the referee will have a word about that shortly.
He is boxing this time, Richard Williams, getting that jab out. But so at times is Paul Samuels.
Surprised at the pace from Samuels. I really thought he would have wanted to take this fight with the scruff of the neck before now. I think he's landed the better punches so far in this round, but he's fallen asleep a little bit now.
Out of range there. Paul Samuels, who was stopped in this round when he fought the British title war with Wayne Alexander. He was kicked out of the ring, and we've got Wayne Alexander ringside with us tonight. I wonder how he's seeing things. He's with Ed Robertson.
Yes, Wayne, very different tactics starting off from both guys, but they're both getting drawn into a fight with each other.
Yeah, they both started off very cautious. They're not as explosive as the first fight, but it's getting heated up now, and I think it's an even fight at the moment. I have Samuels winning the first, second was very even, and the third very even.
Williams understandably cautious, and it seems like he's dabbing at his eye occasionally, worried about those cuts again.
I think he's worried about his eye. He had 2 cuts in the last fight, and I think he's very cautious about his eye.
How do you think the fight's going to go? You fought them both, one as an amateur.
I still think it might be Samuel's way. I think Samuel is going to be too strong for Williams, and I think he might be stopping him on the cuts.
Thank you.
The cuts are a worry for Richard Williams, but at the moment they're holding up. He's had the surgery, and he thinks he's had a long enough break. He's been sparring with Darren Bruce for this one, and he'll have been upset by the fact that Bruce was stopped earlier this evening on an undercard fight. Paul Samuels in the red trunks of his home Newport in Wales, boxes out of the St Joseph's gym. Fought there, precise, accurate work from Williams. It's the round, Jim, when he took the title, beating Shannon Taylor in what was a wonderful performance.
Yeah, well, normally around about now, he starts hitting a rhythm. As I said earlier, thinking fighters sometimes take a couple of rounds to do that, and Richard Williams always does. I'm surprised Samuels is not really doing enough. He's showing nice little feints, threats, trying to force Williams into making mistakes, but he has to get more punches going.
Plenty of kidology before this one, both of them talking about wars and tremendous battles, but maybe they want to box. Good body shots from Williams, who's the more hurtful puncher on paper. He's boxing well from the outside, Richard Williams now.
Samuels is not pressurising him enough at this stage. Punching in little spurts, but we need to see a bit more steady pressure for Samuels to be most control of this. Williams boxing well.
The punch he was really working on in training, Paul Samuels, was the right uppercut against a smaller man, and he hasn't thrown that yet. Instead it's Williams who's finding the timing in this round, and the marks are on Paul Samuels this time.
Samuels seems to be boxing as though he's expecting a long, hard night. I mean, I've never seen him pacing a fight like this before. Usually he's much more adventurous. But taking his time, picking his punches, not wasting half as many as he usually does.
Maybe that is the tactics. Richard Williams has only had to go past 4 rounds twice in his 5-year career.
There's 2 beautiful punches from him. There goes another one. Samuels is taking big chances here. Has to get his act together, his concentration right.
Wonderful round for Richard Williams. Back comes Samuels. Oh, it's starting to catch light. line to Tony Borg, but he had to take a lot of very accurate, quality shots from Williams.
Well, again, he seems to be playing mind games at times. He wants to show Williams that he's not interested in his power doesn't trouble him, but he's taken so many chances, and at least 4 real solid knockdown punches landed. He took them well. Now there was one. There's quite a few light middleweights in the world that have been on the floor from both of those. 2 tremendous punches. There goes the uppercut now. Lovely punching from Williams at that stage, but Samuels doesn't seem to be worried. No panic. Quite prepared to take them, as I say, as though he's playing mind games.
It's a very different affair than the matchup in June. Richard Williams, the IBO 11-stone champion, in the black trunks with the red stripe down the side. 5'9", his 18th fight, the 31-year-old from South London. And here comes Paul Samuels now, trying to put on the pressure and make Williams back off. Disjointed though, Paul Samuels.
Yeah, he's fighting in little defences. He's just walking straight forward, no head movement. His hands aren't tight enough. He's just showing nice little feints now and again, but not capitalising on it if he draws the lead or forces Williams into making a move. He just hasn't got his act together yet.
Wheels in the left hook, and there he tries the uppercut. For the first time, Paul Samuels, and once more. This is better from the Welshman. Does go through lazy spells and has been out of the ring so much in the last 3 or 4 years. He's only had 4 fights, I think.
And again, this is the pace that Williams enjoys. He's got time to think what he's doing, set up his attacks and get the punches home. Samuels really should be raising the pace, taking this fight with a scruff of the neck, just as he's doing now.
Bloody nose to contend with as well, Paul Samuels, and he's having difficulty getting out of the way of that jab from Richard Williams, which was not in evidence in the first fight. Samuels fighting in bursts. Great uppercut from Richard Williams. He can be easy to hit, Paul Samuels. He won the first couple of rounds against Wayne Alexander in their British title fight in Dagenham, February 2000. But then, when they went toe-to-toe, he was so leaky and open. He's got to force Williams back now, surely.
He's got to control the pace. He's allowing Williams to do that, and it's not working for him. Success now and again with little bursts of punches, but no, he has to sustain it.
Another Williams round.
Just read that.
Pre-Christmas spectacular from Newcastle next week on Saturday Fight Night. 8 o'clock is the start time on Sky Sports 1. Joe Calzaghe defending his WBO World Super Middleweight title. Our starlight welterweight Ricky Hatton, and also Alex Arthur's first British Super Featherweight title defence next week on Saturday Fight Night, 8, Sky Sports 1.
Yes, we can't wait to be in Newcastle next week, but now it's the Brentwood Leisure Centre and the rematch that all of boxing wanted to see. It's finally happened. Richard Williams and Paul Samuels, after their technical draw in the 3rd round, they now enter the 6th of their 2nd fight, and Williams is getting on top.
See, we keep comparing this with the last time they met, but when you sit down and look at this, this is a real quality fight. These are 2 guys who know exactly what they're doing. They're not messing around, they're throwing bombs at every opportunity. There's a lot of drama here, so I think we're going to forget the first fight and just enjoy this one.
This is big, work now from Paul Samuels, who backs Williams up on the ropes, and he is not comfortable sometimes when that happens. Richard Williams, he had a real tussle with Hussein Osman up in Hartlepool a while back, when Osman really put the heat on him. Needs to back off, find room, and get out of the way of those uppercuts.
I think that Samuels is making a mistake. He's doing some of his best work too early in the rounds, then he's fading and allowing Williams to come back at him again. And